entrance.
Oh.
And we are live. Hello, everybody. We are. I thought you were going to wait till you were getting introduced.
Can he stay off camera? Is that possible? Is it too late to write that into the rules?
I wish. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week. I hope that there's not too much noise on the background. I'm trying to open my one pickup for this week. How are we all doing out there? Tonight, we're going to be doing a special topic. I wanted to thank, first of all, the podcast Screen Drafts for coming up with this exact format that we are emulating tonight. And I got permission from them to use this for one night only. And it is going to be amazing.
Wait, did you actually get permission from them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now I feel even more honored and privileged to be on this episode.
Oh, shit.
We are going to be doing a wonderful draft of the top films distributed by A24 ever, making the definitive best of list of 7 movies. And we are going to go over the rules in just a little bit. But first, in one corner, we have stand-up comedian, writer, New Beverly electric bill payer, and
That's true.
owner of the Cat Stevens. We have Mr. Jeremy Long.
Yeah, she's right here. What's up, everybody? Thanks. Yeah.
I love that over your right shoulder you have your name tag displayed as well.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, is it left shoulder? It's mirrored.
Yeah.
And in the other corner, we have the co-owner of the best pizza place that only 14 people have ever gone to. We have the owner of every Shaw Brothers bootleg created under the sun.
No,
we have
not bootleg, regular official release.
Not all of them. We have our very own Flip Otaku. Flip, how are we doing?
Terrible.
That's about what I expected. In the other corner, the viewing corner, we've got John Peters, who says A24. Flip is going to love this.
I love it.
Sardis says greetings, which, by the way, we've been using the word Sardis forever. I wanted to celebrate this evening and say I can now confirm Sardis's real name is Jesse. I've been speaking to Jesse through email. Jesse, we love you. We're always glad to have you here.
I thought it was fucking
Jeremy
Sardis.
also loves A24, not just Flip. Jeremy's also going to love this discussion.
Jeff, how we doing?
I like A24 more than you. Okay.
I don't think so.
The
Are you
barbs
wearing an
are...
A24 themed shirt?
Yeah, well, I'm mentally in 8th grade, so what do you want?
I won't argue.
Jeff is here. How we doing, Jeff? Lissa, I'm glad you're here. Nerd of the 80s, Cam, my only pickup for this week is solely because of you, so thank you. Yes, it is. He brought it up in the Discord, and I was like, God damn it, now I have to buy it. Sean, hello. Glad to have you. Dave, my friend, you are amazing. And Eric, you guys are so great. Glad you're here every single week. Tonight, like I said, is going to be amazing. We're going to go over pickups after we play our game. But first, A24. Without going into specific titles to display your love of these, what is your history with the brand, Jeremy?
Without going into titles, I stumbled upon A24 with one of their very early releases and was like, wow, what a great movie. And I do tend to sometimes correlate great films with the companies that make them. Like my favorite movie of all time, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, was Focus Features. So now whenever Focus Features does something, I'm there. And then they just kind of basically continued to put out amazing content after that first one I saw, and I was just like, oh, this is A24? Oh, this is A24? And then I've just got sucked into the A24 bandwagon.
Famously, Flip does the same thing with distributors. Primarily, he loves Miramax and Dimension because they are the ones that were owned by Harvey Weinstein.
Love that guy.
Flip's
favorite producer. Unironically, though, without Harvey Weinstein, we wouldn't have had a lot of the Asian films we got. That I
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
He produced a lot of great movies.
With the bat, you know.
So again, without going into specific titles, overall, how do you feel about A24, Flip, and any history with the distributor that you'd like to share?
I I don't follow, like, I mean, I know we joked about Miramax. We joked about the Miramax. I don't think I followed a distributor quite like A24. I have watched every one of their movies. And I watched a couple this week to catch up because there was a few I haven't seen. And I would say overall, there's like maybe 5 objectively bad movies out of the lot that they've put out. And I think that's pretty good, considering like all things considered. Now there are a few movies that I thought were A24 films in my mind for some reason, like The Drop with James Gandolfini and Tom Hardy. For some reason in my mind, I thought that was an A24 film.
Oh yeah,
and it's not. So, but yeah, they're a company that no matter what, I will watch whatever they put out. They have, I think they're very varied. I think they put out a lot, like a pretty good selection of things. And yeah, I mean, they're like the house, like they're like the only, even though they're a big studio now, they're the only thing, in my opinion, that's the only company that's continuously putting out fresh and new things. That's not Marvel. That's not Star Wars. Or
I got to admit, you did mention that they are varied, and that is the thing that I appreciate about them so much, because they will, 1 month release a deeply emotional, familial, driving story surrounding death, and then the next month it'll be like a creature feature where a shark comes on land and chews through a house or something, and it's somehow they're both artistic and amazing.
Okay, I have not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the only one I haven't seen.
We are not mentioning titles, sir.
Oh shit.
So
I haven't seen that new one.
Yes, it's crazy. There's always new A24 ones, new A24 films coming out. They've already released 2 just this year, and a 3rd one drops next week. So,
have you seen the list of upcoming
3 this year? Sorry,
has it been 3 already?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which one you're forgetting since we're not naming titles, but there's been 3.
Yeah, there's probably something. I guarantee it. I did want to point out that Jesse. No, I remember that one. Jesse says he watched Ilya Muromets, and that did not disappoint, and I cannot wait to get that in. Did you watch it? Did you get it?
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Which one?
The partner label from Deaf Crocodile, where they put out the Russian fantasy film.
I did not see that.
It looks amazing. They did a trailer for it, and it showcased that they had almost 100,000 extras in it.
Wow.
Yes, that is impressive. Let's get into some of the rules of screen drafts, and I am using all of these word for word from Screen Drafts. Screen Drafts is a serpentine-style draft where guest GMs, Jeremy and Flip, are placing picks on the single definitive best of list for today's topic, which is the best A24 films that they distributed. Our standard draft tonight has 7 picks. Drafter A is going to make picks 7, 6, 4, and 2, and Drafter B gets picks 5, 3, and 1. While Drafter B has fewer picks, they are more concentrated to the top of the list, including the honor of choosing our overall number 1 pick. The draft order is going to be selected by a trivia round written by yours truly, and I am going to make that a best of 5. We're going to get into the trivia rules in just a second, but first, I wanted to point out that each of our commissioners tonight will have a veto. If a drafter disagrees with a selection made by another player or themselves, they can deploy a veto. That will remove the title from that position on the list, but not from the game entirely. In other words, GMs can draft to attempt to remove a title from the game entirely or try to move it higher on the list. And if a drafter does not use a veto, it rolls over when you are playing screen drafts, but that doesn't matter. So tonight, if you are trying to draw blood, use your veto wisely. Like I said, you are allowed to veto yourself. Maybe you are super passionate about a title that you put at number 4, and then you realize, nay, I want this higher. I'm going to veto myself and choose another title in its place so that you can play it at number 2 later in the draft. We normally, in screen drafts, there's a rule called the mooch rule where we do not play made-for-TV films. That's not going to be a problem tonight. We have a very specific list that we are going off of, and I will appreciate you guys going over that. They also have a commissioner prediction game that they play in Screen Drafts, and I chose 7 films that I think will make up your guys' list. And just for fun afterwards, I will reveal my 7 and see how many I got correct. Placement will not matter on those, just if they are on your list. The rules of trivia tonight, we are going to do Shout It Out Best of 5 trivia. In other words, I'm going to read the question, and the 2 guest GMs will shout out answers attempting to answer the questions. They will be about either lesser films from the topic or something that is associated with the topic. It's not going to be about specific titles because we are not going to be naming those in case we will be speaking about them later. There are 2 main rules of trivia. The first is the Alex Trebek rule that states you must allow me to completely finish my question before you attempt to answer. If someone steps on my question, that answer does not count, and the other participant can attempt to answer the same question. The second rule of trivia is the Lord Bullingdon rule from Barry Lyndon, which basically alludes to the standard. If we're in a duel, you give the gentleman's duel. So if one of you answers, you give the other person a chance to answer. And I am going to state tonight that, according to Sean, due to Flip's height, his veto will be called the Danny DeVito.
I like
and
it.
It has to be the very specific Danny DeVito that you are going to put out tonight. Are there any questions on our game?
Flip left.
Flip's not important to this, amazingly.
I need one of those.
Jesse asked, is there a list to look at as a spectator? I just put the link in the chat. So if you are curious, you can click on that. Go to the Wikipedia list of A24 films. Any questions on our game, gentlemen?
No.
Prepare to die.
All right, let's get into trivia.
I can't take Flip seriously as a competitor.
All right. Question. Hold on. I did not get everything synced from my phone to my computer. Let's vamp for just a second. Here we go. Question number 1. Director Sean Baker has helmed 2 incredible films released by A24. What was Sean Baker's breakout film that was shot entirely on iPhone 5s with clip-on lenses?
Tangerine.
Point for Jeremy Long. Flip looks devastated.
I don't care.
Oh no.
Question number 2. How many films distributed by A24 have had Robert Pattinson in them?
2.
3.
Incorrect. Jeremy?
Both of us?
Yes. Flip answered. Your turn.
Oh, I said 3.
Oh, then you are also incorrect.
4.
Flip. 4 is the correct answer.
Fuck you, Jeremy.
Oh, what one am I forgetting?
Question number 3. We are going into this tied at 1-1. Toni Collette is maybe the most obvious Oscar snub in the entire A24 catalog. She has surprisingly only ever been nominated for 1 Oscar. For which film was that nomination? Do we need a hint?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm
Does
thinking
anybody want to take a guess?
I know. I mean, I'm some Toni Collette roles are rolling around in my head, but none that she would have been nominated for. They're all like.
My hint is the movie may be very surprising.
It's a drama, isn't it? It's like a super serious film. Fucking motherfucker.
I mean, kind of. All right, do we need another hint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is also the film that put a very defining director on the map. Released in the 90s.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna call it if nobody. I mean, nobody's even guessed one.
I don't know.
The only Tony
Final
Collette
guess.
movie. What?
Final guess. Go ahead, throw it out there.
No, it's not. It's not the one because it's not the '90s, and there's no way she would have been nominated for this. But one of my favorite roles of hers is The Way Back.
The movie was The Sixth Sense.
What?
That movie was surprising because it's Shyamalan's twist.
It sure was. I forgot that she was in that.
Question
Shyamalan's
number
movie is close
4,
to it.
still tied at 1-1. A24 has had only one Oscar win in an acting category. Who received it?
Denzel Washington?
Incorrect. Jeremy
Willem
Long?
Dafoe.
Incorrect. I'm gonna need to write some backup questions on the fly.
Yeah, you might need to.
Fuck. They've only won one Oscar for Best Actor.
One nomination.
At one, yes, they've only had one Oscar win in an acting category.
And you're not telling us if it was actor or actress.
Correct. On purpose.
Is it Robert Pattinson?
Incorrect.
How
Would you
many
guys
guesses
like
did we
a
get?
clue?
Yes.
Huh?
I said, would you like a clue?
Sure.
Yeah.
It is a female.
Aquafina.
Oh,
Incorrect.
I can't think of her. I don't want to say it because I can't think of her fucking name, but I know the movie she's in.
Elsie Fisher.
It is Flip's turn.
I don't know her fucking name.
All right, final clue on this one. This is sad, guys.
I know the movie.
Yeah, I guess we're not as big of A24 fans as we thought we were.
The film itself is starring her and a child actor named Jacob Tremblay.
Oh, Brie Larson.
There we go. 2-1 for Mr. Jeremy Long. If he gets this correct, then Jeremy is the winner for trivia. If Flip gets it, then I have to come up with something else on the fly. Question number 5. What was the first theatrically released A24 film? All of our spectators are sad.
I was just staring at it.
We're so sad. Is it
from 2012?
Yes.
I was just fucking staring at it, dude. No, Tusk is like 3 or 4. It's actually like not that far down.
Spring Breakers?
Incorrect.
No.
That was very close to the top, though.
That is a very close one.
Flip,
I
your
do
turn
know
to
what
guess.
the very first one that they did was, but I don't think it was theatrically released.
Flip, can you guess something so that he can guess that, and then I can give you a hint?
I don't
Or you can pass.
pass.
Jeremy.
Well, I know that the first one they did was A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III, but I don't think that
Absolutely correct. That was theatrically released.
that was theatrical? I thought it was
Yes,
straight.
sir.
Okay.
Jeremy Long has won. So you get the choice if you would like to be drafter A or drafter B for our game. Drafter B is the one, Drafter A gets picks 7, 6, 4, and 2, and drafter B gets 5, 3, and 1. So would you rather have more picks or higher picks?
Higher picks.
Higher picks. So
Yeah.
Flip, you are going to go first. You're going to get 7, 6, 4, and 2. Jeremy, you are going to get 5, 3, and 1. Flip, are you doing this on your phone tonight?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Got it. I was going to have you text me your answers. Okay.
Do you want me to text you my answers?
No, it's okay because we're going to have to go over it this way anyway. So, coming in, first choice at number 7, Flip. What is your first choice for our screen draft of A24? And I just want to point out, Sarda says, are there any A24 films with Kung Fu?
Technically, everywhere, all at once. But
I
We're not naming titles.
When you first started reading that comment, I thought it was going to say, "Are there any A24 fans on this podcast?" Because clearly, based on that trivia,
That is a
It's
very
a
good
tie.
question.
number 7 is tough for me. I want a specific director to be highlighted. I can't pronounce his name. It's like Yada Nana Nama Nama Nama. I don't know his name. So he's the director of Killing of a Sacred Deer. But I think I think his better movie is The
Yorgos
Lobster.
Lanthimos.
Number 7 is, for me, The Lobster. That movie, for some reason, resonated with me very strongly. I don't think it's going to be higher up on either of our lists, so I want him to be at least represented on this list. So I'm picking The Lobster.
The Lobster from 2015. For when you are making these picks, can you go into what the movie's about for everybody and why you're picking it, why it connected with you?
So The Lobster is about, it's our world, but there's a weird twist where if you don't find true love after a certain amount of time, you get to turn into the animal of your choosing. Colin Farrell is going to choose a lobster, and it's him trying to discover love before that happens. And I think it's a beautiful film. It's very depressing. It's a lot of black humor. And the humor, I wouldn't even say it's black humor. It's the humor is dry. It's a very dry film. But it emotionally resonated with me. It was at a time in my life where I was young. I was finding myself, in your early to mid 20s, trying to find out who you really are. And spoiler, I'm an idiot. So, but yeah, that's what the movie's about. Colin Farrell gives, I think, probably his best performance of his career. He's just spectacular in it, and yeah, that is The Lobster.
Colin Farrell is in the other A24 film that I forgot from this year. So that is the one that I forgot.
That's true. Okay, good to know.
That
is great. As are
we're not mentioning titles, Flip.
Okay.
Jeremy, how do you feel about The Lobster at number 7?
I love The Lobster. I think it's a great movie. It didn't happen to be on my list, but I still really like it a lot. I do agree with what Flip said on both accounts. About it resonating with me at the age that I saw it, and finding myself and my identity in my early to mid 20s, as well as I also agree with him wanting to highlight Yorgos Lanthimos, I believe is how you pronounce it.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah, but
I love all of his films, including the not so frequented films prior to The Lobster, when he started doing American.
He's a great director.
Yeah, so I like him a lot, and so I'm not going to veto that. I'm fine with it.
For those that maybe do not know, Yorgos Lanthimos also has other films such as Dogtooth and Alps, I believe both of which are out on Kino Lorber. And then famously, what's that?
And Killing of a Sacred Deer,
which is another A24 film, so we weren't mentioning it. And then
shut the fuck up.
The other big one that he did recently that got a ton of attention, obviously, is The Favorite with Olivia Colman and fucking everybody. Who else was in that? We've got Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz. I'm sorry.
Rachel Weisz.
Yorgos Lanthimos is a very unique director. For anybody that has not seen any of his films, it is one of those ones that I would certainly say is an auteur. He's somebody that has a voice that he is wanting to share with the world. He has a very specific style that is out there, to say the least. If you've never seen it, Dogtooth, highly recommend it. Very cheap from Kino Lorber normally. Alps is okay, but I think lesser than Dogtooth. And anything in the 2010s, he has gotten more of a budget, and they all really shine. And not necessarily because of that budget, although The Favorite certainly shined because of the budget.
I think Dogtooth might be my favorite, though, of his.
Yeah, it is a wonderful film, and highly recommend diving into his filmography, because it gets pretty wild in there. Flip, you look like you were trying to say something.
No,
okay.
I'm freezing.
Me too.
The air's on and the vent's right above my fucking head. That's why I keep fidgeting. I'm like cold as fuck.
My light over my shoulder here, the little thing is bouncing up because the vent is aiming right here.
It's literally blowing right in my face, and I'm dying.
Flip says the most ridiculous things sometimes.
Okay, so at number 7, we have The Lobster. Flip, you are also up at number 6. What do you got for us?
A Prayer Before Dawn.
A Prayer Before Dawn.
Incredible boxing film based on the true story of a man who goes to a prison in Eastern Asia, in a very poor Eastern Asian country. And there, the inmates are pretty much left to their own devices, and they are allowed to box. And some of them are allowed to box for their freedom. And it's about him doing just that, and it's an incredible film. The real life guy, incredible story. Acted by Joel. Is it not
Joe Cole?
Joe Cole.
Hmm.
Incredible performance. He's mostly known for Peaky Blinders, but he's incredible here. So yeah, I think they picked an actor that like physically is perfect for like the people of that culture, because he's a smaller guy, but he's very muscular, and a lot of those people in that country are very smaller, like small stature, but they're jacked. Also, all the inmates were real inmates in the movie, I believe. A lot of the facial tattoos and stuff were legit. These were real, criminals. So, yeah, I highly recommend A Prayer Before Dawn.
I feel like an idiot because I knew you loved this film and fucking forgot to predict it.
Wow. I was about to say, I bet that's not on Ryan's list because it came out of nowhere for me.
Well, he has talked about it on the show like literally 4 or 5 times. It is one that I know he loves, and not to mention, it is set in Thailand, which is Flip loves Asian stuff. So here we are. Jeremy, what do you think about A Prayer Before Dawn at number 6?
I've never seen it. So I feel
Who's
like
the fan now?
Who's the what?
Who's the real fan now?
I can't. I don't feel right vetoing it because I haven't seen it.
Right.
Even though I have countless other A24 films that I would put in that spot.
I mean, if you veto it, I have a perfect replacement for it.
But I haven't seen it. Maybe I would love it and be like, oh, it does deserve to be in that spot.
Well, and the hard part, then he could put it up at number 4.
Yeah.
I don't think you would like this movie. I have something saved for number 4.
He doesn't think I would like this movie.
I don't think you would like it.
What, the prayer one?
Yeah.
Why not?
It's good.
It's good, so Jeremy would hate it.
I wouldn't like it. We don't agree on anything. I'm gonna save my veto. I'm gonna leave that.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I feel like I'd rather fight for a higher spot, even though he only has 2 spots left. But I'll save it for a higher spot.
Wait, what spots do I have left?
You have 4 and 2 after these 2 are gone.
All right.
Movies by E. What's going on? Glad you're here. We are doing an episode of Screen Drafts about the top 7 definitive A24 list of all time. Sardis says Flip is trying to slip in a crappy film. I've actually heard from multiple people that this one is good. It is just one of the vastly underseen films from A24's catalog.
It's an early one. It's like 2013, I think, 2014.
This movie was released in 2017.
That's like 4 years ago with COVID time.
That is true. This is the synopsis on IMDb says the true story of an English boxer incarcerated in one of Thailand's most notorious prisons as he fights in a Muay Thai tournaments to
Muay Thai.
It's not even like proper grammar on IMDb. In those tournaments to earn his freedom.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. Doesn't sound like my cup of tea, but even when Flip was explaining it, didn't sound like my cup of tea. I just, but I'll still watch it because I love Flip so much, and I also like the fact that it's an underrated film, and it's A24, and I do plan on seeing all A24 films, even though I haven't quite yet. I've probably seen like 75-80%. So I will watch it, but I still don't feel right vetoing it since I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to.
Smart. And like Flip said, the top IMDb trivia says the inmates in this film are all played by real ex-inmates who have served time in Thailand prisons. That's terrifying. I mean, some of the things I've heard about Thailand prisons are crazy.
One of the people in the movie, he's got a lot of facial tattoos. He got famous afterwards because of his performance. It's like Joe Cole's like buddy in the movie. He ended up going back to prison. So like, it's a circle that just keeps repeating itself. It's sad.
Wow.
Right.
Incredible film.
Jesse says, I haven't seen it, never bought anything on this label. They are, I mean, first of all, it's not like a boutique label necessarily, although they have released at least 3 films now by their own that they've put out, and they are the ones that they put out are really high quality and
Yeah.
highly suggest them. They are really good. Jeff says Jeremy won't watch it. He is too consumed with gay porn, which is true. We all know that.
Ryan's the one who turned me on to it. So
You're welcome. Okay. Flip at 7 and 6 have gotten both of his picks to stick. Mr. Jeremy Long, you are up at number 5 with your first choice in our draft.
So, not that I didn't know the rules going into this, because I did, because Ryan sent us a lovely voice message with the rules. But for some reason, I still did like a 1 through 7 ranking of my own, knowing that I wouldn't be able to actually choose all 1 through 7.
And you should. That is a good choice in case you guys screw with each other's list still.
So I'm going to have to rearrange mine a bit to give the ones that I really like credit in.
Exactly. Just in case Flip doesn't pick them.
Correct. So I'm going to decide. I decide this one is the one that should be in the bottommost spot of my picks, which is the shirt that I'm wearing.
8th grade.
That was on my list.
There we go. 8th grade is written and directed by Bo Burnham, who is my favorite comedian after Norm Macdonald, rest in peace. And I always loved Bo's stand-up because aside from maybe the first 2 that he's ever done when he was a lot younger, his stuff is extremely introspective and not just very funny in many cases, but also extremely deep, especially his most recent one. And so when it was announced that he was coming out with a movie, I was very intrigued. Not all comedians or anybody who isn't already a writer director, anybody who's already famous in some other field of Hollywood trying to make that jump, it's not always successful, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And just because I love him doesn't mean I was going to give him a free pass. So I was very excited and intrigued to check it out. And needless to say, it was my favorite movie of that year, which I think was 2018, 19?
Correct.
18. I thought it was a great breakout performance by Elsie Fisher, and it really encapsulated not just showcasing how, kind of overlooked children are, or younger adults, children and young adults in dealing with life's situations and traumas, but just also putting a really apt lens on dealing with anxiety and depression and fitting in general, regardless of age and gender. And it just blew me away. It really connected with me on a lot of levels, and I was and I love it. So.
Flip, what do you think about 8th grade at number 5?
I think it just showcases that Bo is a modern Renaissance man. The dude can literally do anything. He's a great actor. He is that movie is fantastically directed. I think that cannot be understated. Like, it's a great story. It conjures up emotions of anxiety. I think all of us who were a little off, I guess, is a good way to put it. I in 8th grade wore all black, painted my nails black, had spiked gloves. I was wearing eyeliner. I was into fucking Cradle of Filth, and also just going through puberty and all that shit. It definitely resonates heavily. But man, Bo Burnham, just like Jeremy said, is, I think, one of the most important voices of this generation, especially I don't want to say millennials, but especially Generation Z. I noticed the Generation Z are a lot more compassionate, a lot more understanding, a lot more thoughtful, and it's because they have people like Bo to kind of look up to. So
I actually really agree with that, and saying that he's one of the biggest voices of that generation is also, I don't think it's a hyperbole. I know not everybody is a fan of him, but it's, even if you're not a fan of his work, it's hard to argue the art and the messages and the influences that he's brought forth through his work.
And not only that, I would be remiss to point out that Bo Burnham is kind of one of our first transitional stars that went from YouTube to breaking out. He had a massive, massive explosion on YouTube right around I think 2008 was when he uploaded his first video, and he had nothing before then. And he has literally directed a film and sold out massive comedy tours and won Emmys for his variety show and all kinds of other stuff. He had a show on MTV. He has accomplished so damn much in only 14 years, including like literally multiple hiatuses, just walking away and taking breaks.
Hiatuses. And he's still only our age, like right around for me and Flip.
I think like, he and Flip are very close to the same age.
And I haven't done shit with my life.
Exactly. So just no.
I'm sure Bo would love your pizza.
I still am, brother. 100% still am. Always was, always will be.
I prefer emo rather than goth.
I had a couple friends that were like industrial goths. Do you guys know what those are?
Sure. Yeah.
Like cyber goths. They like, oh man. I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm not familiar with the subgenres.
You know those subgenres of goth? I was very much like London After Midnight, AFI, fucking The Cure, also Cradle of Filth.
Wearing a trench coat. Yeah.
Shooting up a school,
Bo's last Netflix special was genuinely genius. One of the best one-man shows ever made. I hesitate to think of something else that was even better as a one-man show than what he put out.
Well, we'll find out at the end of the month when Norm puts out his final special, which is just apparently him in his living room. So
I mean, obviously I love Norm.
I heard it's dark. There's some some people got it early and they're like, he goes places. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd consider it a one-man. I mean, it'll feel like it because he's just
a comedy special, not a one-man show. They are very different.
It's very different from what Bo did. It's all so I don't know if it's comparable.
Also, that fucking song, "All Eyes on Me," it's still in rotation. The first time I heard that song, I literally cried.
Oh, wow. I cried through half that special.
I did too, and I've watched that special I think 4 times. Yeah. Which, with how much I on the show famously do not rewatch things, it is incredible. And each time, like the first time I watched it, I was like, "That was 5 stars," but somehow every time I was like, "Wait a minute, I think it was better this time." And not only is the music incredible, but the fact that he did everything himself during a pandemic, like in the midst of wondering what is next for his life, after saying he is done with stand-up comedy and then writing some of the most genius, hilarious things ever made. It was astonishing to see. It is a massive achievement.
Yeah. Not to be understated.
Yeah. And going back to what we originally started talking about, 8th Grade, one of, I think, the most awkward films ever made, and that is an achievement for that film because it was meant to be. Obviously 8th Grade is a dark and rough time for many people, and they do not shy away from that in this film. I mean, it is the awkward film for this generation that is currently in 8th grade, and it is done so realistically that I got like secondhand cringe where I almost wanted to stop watching it, but could not take my eyes away.
Yeah.
Jeff says, I don't watch most things once. That is not true. Just give me some time.
I remember when it came out and they were making exceptions, at least here in Los Angeles, at theaters to let 8th graders into the movie since it's rated R. So that if they wanted to go see it, they could. Or at least at certain screenings. I know that was a thing. And I saw a couple, I went to the premiere and then also a couple screenings that had Q&As with either Bo and or Elsie. And Bo's like, it had to be R because 8th grade is rated R. So why would the movie not be rated R?
That's true.
And a lot of people thought like Elsie Fisher would be done after that film. She just starred in a freaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and did really well in her role too. So I'm really hoping that she does great things. She is amazing in 8th grade. Yeah.
She's in the new season of Barry. Yeah, she's crushing it.
Flip, we are going to you for number 4.
You guys excited for number 4?
I'm a little scared.
After that comment.
All right. A little movie called A Most Violent Year.
Good God.
Oscar Isaac.
Tell us about A Most Violent Year at number 4.
It's a crime movie. It's about a guy who owns a small oil company. His employees start getting robbed and hijacked, and he has to arm them. And it's what ensues. I don't want to say too much because it's a little spoilery from that vague description onward. But Oscar Isaacs gives a incredible performance. I love Oscar Isaac. He is like a heartthrob for so many. I think this might be his best role. So that's all I gotta say about Most Violent Year. Jeremy, have you seen it?
I have not seen that one either.
Of course. I will jump in here then.
As we speak. What year was? Oh, I found it.
The Most Violent Year is from 2014, also starring Jessica Chastain.
Yeah,
Gina's pretty good too. She's very like manipulative.
I love her, and I love Oscar Isaac actually. Yeah, I recognized this cover and everything. I just did not get a chance to see it.
The synopsis online for this is: in New York City, 1981, an ambitious immigrant fights to protect his business and family during the most dangerous year in the city's history. Well, at number 4, Jeremy, I know you haven't seen it, but is this one that you want to leave, or do you think that we should be fighting for some other titles to be on this list?
I have a great replacement if you do decide. Like a replacement that you would love.
Well, that's very enticing. No matter what, I feel weird because if I replace it, if I veto it, I feel like a hypocrite because I just said I'm not gonna do that if I haven't seen the movie.
But at least that was the bottom half of the list. We're literally smack dab in the middle, and Flip only has this choice and one more left.
Yeah. And you know what? 2 things. One, he just said that I'm gonna love, which I don't think was sarcastic.
Not sarcastic at all.
His replacement. And 2, call me crazy, but I think we're gonna agree with Flip's number 2 pick. Like I think we might be on the same page with what his final pick is after this, and therefore I wouldn't want to veto it. So I am going to use my veto now.
Jeremy Long throwing down his veto, and Flip must now replace A Most Violent Year at number 4 with another title. And keep in mind, A Most Violent Year is not out of the game, just out of this position. It can be played higher in the game.
So my next pick is Lady Bird.
Lady Bird at number 4.
Honestly, Lady Bird is it's top 3 on my list. It's actually number 3, but I don't have the 3rd spot. I have 2. So I wanted to put it up there. This is top 3 A24 films for me. Incredible coming. Like I think it's a much better coming of age film than 8th Grade. I mean, I think this is especially for people who grew up in like somewhat religious households. This movie hits personally on so many levels. The performances are fucking great from just across the board, just fucking awesome. Look what happened when you listen to Ryan, Jeremy. What happened?
We got a better film in there.
Not to take away from A Most Violent Year, that's a great movie, but
I do think people should seek that out. The cast in that is amazing.
I saw Albert Brooks was in
but
it.
Lady Bird is much better than A Most Violent Year.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really glad he vetoed it because I can put my all-time favorite at number 2.
Number 2. Okay, great. Well, I agree with pretty much everything Flip said about Lady Bird. It was not surprisingly on my top 7 that I picked.
What?
Wow.
Whoa.
I had a handful of ones that I just really liked more. I love Lady Bird though. I think it's great. I'm happy it's on the list. I'm happy Flip picked it, and I agree with everything he said.
Sean says, when I watched Lady Bird for the first time, I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. I just watched it again last week, and if I could give it more than 5, I would.
You know, I have a lot of films like that. I remember the first time I watched Royal Tenenbaums. I was obviously quite young, but I remember being like, and then I rewatched it years later and loved. There's quite a few.
Sardis was alluding, when he said, look what happened when you listened to Ryan, he was saying you went to a gay porn movie.
Yeah, that's what happens when you listen to Ryan.
I like that. That's like that has stuck with you on this show. Is that you like gay porn?
Yeah, that's basically what Ryan's going down history as.
And I didn't
even somehow now associated with that.
That was just
every
a
time
natural thing that happened.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Lady Bird. Anything else you want to say about that there, Jeremy?
No. I think it's great. I love Greta. I love anything Greta Gerwig touches, so I'm here for it.
I have a
Yes,
short list of
so
directed by Greta.
famously directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf, and they are both ridiculously great in their roles. Timothy Chalamet is also in it, and Beanie Feldstein is maybe the standout comedic performance of that movie. She is freaking great. Jonah Hill's sister, by the way. And the other thing that I wanted to point out, Flip said maybe a better coming of age film than Eighth Grade. I won't necessarily agree with that. I think that they are both. Go ahead.
I said if you grew up with in a religious household.
On top of that, the other thing I will throw out there is this is just a different era. This is technically set in 2002, and it smells like 2002 when you watch this movie. It reeks of 2002. It is really well done. It is something that is it's one of those things that you can feel the culture surrounding 2002, and it is genuinely.
What does 2002 smell like? Asbestos from the World Trade Center?
How do you follow that up? Damn it! Anyways, it to me, like, it smells like Hot Topic while watching this movie, because this was like 2002 was around the year that Hot Topic hit its stride.
Love Hot Topic, dude.
I mean, everybody just got done dying, so they were just.
So they had to go.
There's a rap song by Lil Aaron that goes, "I'll take your bitch to Hot Topic, Hot Topic." Yeah.
The comedian in me likes Flip's joke as a nothing off limits comedian, and then the 2022 version of Jeremy.
Hey,
I'm just sign off now and not be
all I'm saying
associated.
is I'm keeping it in people's mouths and people's minds. Never forget.
Hashtag never forget.
Hashtag.
No one's gonna see it if you don't hashtag it.
Hashtag never forget, dude.
Okay, at number 4, Flip picked A Most Violent Year. That was vetoed by Jeremy, and it was replaced by Flip with Lady Bird. Jeremy, you are up with pick number 3.
I'm happy with that outcome. Okay, so I have a very specific pick for number 1.
Me too.
So therefore, I'm going to once again have to rearrange my own personal list a smidge to be able to put in number 3 what I want to be in number 3, in the hopes that Flip agrees, but maybe he won't. I do have a backup. My number 3 spot is. Are you laughing at Flip?
He's like masterminding over here.
First Reformed.
First Reformed by Paul Schrader.
Yeah.
Tell us about First Reformed.
First Reformed is about a pastor, Ethan Hawke, who works at a church. What's funny already?
Nothing. Go.
Who works in a church in a small town called the First Reformed, and his help is sought by a couple played by Amanda Seyfried, and I apologize, I don't remember the husband's the actor who played the husband.
Is it Seyfried? Is it Seyfried?
Okay. Seyfried. Don't test.
Anyways.
Me. And she has a child, is with child, and her husband doesn't want to bring a child into this world for a multitude of reasons, all of which I strongly agree with and had been preaching long before this movie.
Well, you should take her to Texas.
And so many topical jokes from Flip today.
Do they have better coat hangers there?
They actually just use Texas Longhorns. They just get right up in there.
And it's a philosophical, metaphysical, crazy film, especially towards the end, that touches on so many things that I personally related to. I can understand why Flip would veto it, or why this wouldn't be a particular person's favorite film, let alone an A24 film. But I related to, I mean, specifically the script, the writing from Paul Schrader. I related to so much in this film, both religion-wise and life-wise, that it blew me away when I saw it. I was like, yeah.
Not to mention one of the most shocking out of nowhere endings in any movie in the A24 catalog.
And Paul Schrader is really hit or miss for me, I might add. I don't really like everything he's done. He has a lot of great films and a lot of films that are
to me, all of his films are well made, but a lot of them, they just kind of lose it in the second act and meander for no reason.
Yeah. Which I think some people may say that this film meanders. It is very slow and deals with some, very deep and personal topics, but it's very personal to me in the stuff it talked about and the way it portrayed it. So,
Mr. Otaku, we have First Reformed from 2017 at number 3. How do you feel about that?
I like it. It's okay. I don't think it's top 7. I really want to veto it, but
I was about to say, reminder, you do have a veto.
Hawke kills it in this movie, so
he does kill it in this movie.
I think I'm gonna let it stay.
Whew. That is both good and bad, because I appreciate you letting it stay, but I have a fear that you'll veto my number 1.
I do too, and I know what the number 1 is.
I don't think I will.
Okay. Well, then you don't use your veto, which I feel bad about. But
I would just like your picks. What?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I used it on you. Okay.
I like when you used it on me, though.
Okay, so First Reformed, it sticks.
Flip is a wonderful masochist. Let's go into our pick number 2. So far at number 7, Flip chose The Lobster. Number 6, Flip chose A Prayer Before Dawn. Number 5, Jeremy got on 8th Grade. Number 4, Flip chose A Most Violent Year. It was vetoed by Jeremy and replaced with Lady Bird. And at number 3, we just got First Reformed, chosen by Jeremy. Flip, you are up with pick number 2.
My favorite A24 film, and one of my favorite films of all time, The Lighthouse. I adore this movie. I just watched Northman last night. Really enjoyed Northman, but it's my second favorite Eggers movie. Lighthouse will always be number 1. It's just right up my alley. It's weird. It's black and white. It's shot in an aspect ratio that doesn't get used anymore, starring 2 actors giving arguably their best performances of their lifetime. It's funny. It's philosophical. It's depressing. It's literally everything rolled into one that I could want from a movie. I'll never forget. I watched it. I didn't get to see it in theaters. I watched it at home. I rented it, sat down, watched it, and immediately hit play again.
Wow.
Sean, you have to see it.
You have to watch that.
I love it. I think it's a masterpiece. It's really weird. I mean, Eggers is such a weird guy. He makes The Witch first, which is, I think, a solid horror movie. I saw that in theaters, loved it, and then immediately, like, all this hype surrounding him. There's rumors that he's going to be doing a Nosferatu film. There, like studios were probably biting at him to try to do something big, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to do a quiet film. I'm going to do The Lighthouse, and he does The Lighthouse, and then all the hype surrounding that, and then he does a fucking Viking revenge movie.
With the biggest budget he's had yet.
And I think he did a great job with that budget.
Yeah.
Jeremy, that scene, have you seen it?
Yeah.
That scene where there's just like 20 guys naked in the woods just howling. I was just like, I looked at Tay, I'm like, that's what guys like to do.
Spoiler alert.
It's like in the first 10 minutes of the movie. I was like, Tay, that's what guys really want to do when they hang out. I was like, I want nothing more than just to get some boys together and just be like,
Ryan and I have that penciled in for when he's visiting LA.
Oh, God damn it. You guys going over to Bohemian Grove? And
Griffith Park,
Howling naked.
Overlooking the Pantages.
But yeah, Lighthouse, fantastic. Also, there's a mermaid pussy.
Huge plus. Yeah, that bumps it up from a 6-star out of 5 to 7.
Jeremy, how do you feel about mermaid pussy at number 2?
You find
It was on my list. I agree with quite literally everything Flip said. It was it is a masterpiece in my opinion as well. I think my top 3 films in this category I personally believe are masterpieces. That was number 3, which is why it wasn't on one of my picks, because I had to resort to bumping up I moved my number 2 to my number 3 slot, and then my number 1 will be my number 1. I think they're all masterpieces, including The Lighthouse. Yeah, it's I agree with Flip. There's no way I would veto it. In fact, I'm happy with it being in the number 2 spot, even though it was my number 3 spot. First Reformed is just a little more personal to me, and that gave it a slight edge. But I think Lighthouse deserves to be number 2. So
Robert Eggers is one of those people that is going to be shaping cinema. I think, no matter how you look at it, the fact that The Lighthouse was literally made and operated as a lighthouse for this, that is ridiculous.
Also, it's his second fucking movie.
Yeah,
his second movie.
Yeah.
And the Northman is his third. That's fucking, it's mind blowing. It's like this dude got shot out to be a film director. It's fucking insane, dude.
After the success of The Witch, I think A24 just really loved him. It was just like, you just do whatever you want for this next movie.
And also, like, I mean, not to like to shit on The Witch, because I think The Witch is his worst movie. But what a fucking, like, I'm gonna make a period piece where people are speaking Old English. You're not gonna be able to understand half the fucking movie. It's gonna be a real slow movie. No jump scares, really. It's gonna be scary just from atmosphere alone. And that's his first movie. And then he does The Lighthouse. And then he does a fucking revenge flick. Like fucking.
Can you imagine though? He's only made 3 movies, and his worst movie is The Witch. Like,
it's a great movie.
Just the fact that is a sentence. I wish I could be somebody with that type of accomplishment.
What the fuck was he doing before?
Where my worst movie is still a 5 out of 5.
Right.
What was he doing before making movies?
I'm not entirely sure, because he's not super old either.
He's like in his 40s, right?
He's not. When I saw The Northman, it was an advanced screening. He did a Q&A.
Was he cool? Is he weird?
He's super cool, but yeah, I think he's a little. I think he has some stage fright, despite being like a writer director, because he was really a bit awkward on stage, especially when answering questions. He was more kind of fidgety and awkward when asking questions from the audience than when the moderator was asking him questions.
I think my question for him would be like, what the fuck were you doing like before?
First of all, he is 38 right now.
Wow.
And from 2007 all the way up through when The Witch released in 2015. So before that, he was literally doing production design for shorts and for TV and some documentaries. He did some writing, and he did some directing of a couple of those shorts. He mostly just did what, you hear the Hollywood thing, grinding away, doing like production design, getting noticed.
His craft in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all that history of production design has led to him, building a lighthouse that works, hiring people to use authentic language that was used back in the 1800s.
Yeah, dude. Like fucking.
The fact that we get like a 10-minute monologue from Willem Dafoe that is powerful beyond belief from somebody that is his age and comes across as like shockingly empowering from somebody in that role, who willingly went in and made himself more vulnerable than I've seen Willem Dafoe in years in that role.
Also, he made a movie where there is a lot of cum and a mermaid vagina, and it's not a distasteful movie.
And it was a mainstream success.
Now, I want to know how well is The Northman doing? Because it's a big studio took a chance and gave him a huge, that movie looks insane.
From my recent lookup of it, it's not doing great at the box office.
God damn it. I mean, yeah, but someone funded Denis, and Blade Runner failed. So I mean, there's there's got to be billionaires out there just funding these guys. Just go make high art. Here's $100 million.
The budget for The Northman is sitting at around 60 million, and so far worldwide it has grossed almost exactly that back, which means after all the marketing, which they hit hard on this movie,
Yeah, they did.
They took a loss, guaranteed.
They marketed it weird. They marketed it as a bro film. Like a
Right.
lot of those commercials were like it'll be like excerpts from reviews, and it's like sick as fuck. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, wait until those bros go see that movie. They're gonna be like, what? Dude, their dicks are out and they're in the fucking volcano. It's gay. Let's get out of here.
Cam says The Lighthouse is great, and Maximus says Defoe is also pretty sexy in The Lighthouse. That ratty beard. Oh yeah.
He's got
But-
Fall to me, lobster, ain't he?
And
Well,
don't ever
it's gotta
take his
be-
beans.
one of the best actors of any
Ever.
generation.
Ever.
My
Yeah.
favorite actor of all time is Sam Rockwell, but Willem Dafoe might be number 2.
My favorite William Dafoe fact is that in the Antichrist they had to get a stunt cock because his cock was too big. That's a real fact.
Wow. I didn't know.
Verified by
Dafoe's got
Flip
a-
in the flesh.
Have you
My
seen that
Flip,
video?
who
Of,
knows for certain
have
all the sizes of every actor's penis.
you guys ever see that video of him? It's like one of those guys on YouTube who just like stops people and he's like, "Hey, what are you wearing?" or whatever. And they stop William Dafoe, and he's just like got like a grocery bag. You can tell he's like a little drunk. He's just just went grocery shopping. He's like, "What are you wearing?" He's like,
Oh,
Dolce and Gabbana." Like he's like, "I don't know, Burberry." Just like
I have seen that video. It's so great.
he's so
Just
cool.
like,
dude.
oh,
He's
I think these are Vans shoes.
so cool. I love him.
All right. To wrap up where we are at the moment, at number 7, we had The Lobster. Number 6, A Prayer Before Dawn. Number 5, 8th Grade. Number 4, A Most Violent Year. 3, First Reformed. Number 2, The Lighthouse. And at number 1, I have already typed it in on my end. Jeremy Long is choosing
Wait.
everything, everywhere,
said-
all at once.
You said number 4 was the most violent year, but we vetoed
I'm
that.
sorry. Yeah, it was vetoed and we got Ladybird. Either way, everything, everywhere, all at once. Jeremy, is that number 1?
It's number 1.
Veto. I was
Prior
gonna-
to you
veto.
announcing that you predicted that, I was going to be like, oh, all my other picks, I held up a Blu-ray of, but I can't do that with this next one because it's not out on Blu-ray yet. And that would give it away.
I'm sorry. So, recency bias aside, why is this brand new film deserving of number 1?
Yeah, it's not even that it's recent. I'm sure that has like a 2% effect on the decision, but I've seen it 5 times in theaters. Well, I didn't even read that. What was this?
Mine would
Maximus
too,
said,
for
didn't
obvious
Lars von
reasons.
Trier say that Defoe's penis size would confuse audiences? I believe that was his exact quote.
I hope that is his exact words. That's great.
Lars von Trier has a way with words. Have you heard his comments
love
about
Von
Hitler?
I love him.
Have you heard his comments about that? Have you seen that?
Nope.
he starts like apologizing for like defending Hitler, and then someone in the movie was like, hey, and he's like, oh, what I really meant was just starts eating his own words. It's a kung fu movie. You like a kung fu movie.
And I never said I didn't like kung fu movies, but it's not just kung fu. It's one of those movies. Very few can do this well and succeed with it, where it like literally blends almost every possible genre in the history of genres, and comes out on top with a 2.5-hour runtime that feels like it's half an hour because you're like so immersed in it and you love it so much. It's 1 second you're 1 second you're amazed by the amazing stunts in kung fu that Flip would love so much. I know he hasn't seen it yet. The next second you're laughing your ass off because there's so many laugh out loud moments, and then I'm sobbing in this movie the same way I did at Burnham's Inside, and it's another film that is personal to me in the same way those last 3 picks were, in a lot of ways, with the content it deals with, because it gets extremely deep, especially in the 3rd act. But also, so for personal reasons, it's a 5 out of 5. But just I mean, you watch the thing, which I know Flip hasn't seen it. I forget, did you watch it yet, Ryan, or no?
Not yet.
It's an achievement of filmmaking on many levels. The cinematography, the directing by the Daniels, the script, to somehow manage to capture everything that this film holds
Everywhere,
without it feeling like it drags. I didn't even hear what Flip said. I'm not circling back. It's an achievement. There's like several shots in this movie where I'm like, as a film school student and lover of film, where I'm just like, how did they even accomplish that? It blew me away. In the same way, I know I said that for my last 3 picks because these are great films from a great company.
Yeah.
But it blew me away. I've seen it 5 times in theaters already. It's only been out for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
It skyrocketed to the my top 10 of all time films list because I love it.
You're not the first person I've heard say that either.
I've had people tell me that they think it's their favorite film of all time. People that I know who have seen it, because I recommend it. I say, you got to go see this, and then they're like, that might be the GOAT. After they see it, I think it's fantastic. I think no wonder it took the Daniels 8 fucking years after Swiss Army Man to release this movie, because I mean, they really put their heart and soul into this one. I can tell. Swiss Army Man's great too, and also A24. But it's so different than this one. It's the same in a lot of ways because it's the Daniels have now created their own brand, especially with their humor, and so that's similar in a lot of ways. But the Swiss Army Man, of course, is very lighthearted compared to this. Anyways, it's a masterpiece. I'm not gonna. I didn't want to go too much into detail about this last one since it is still in theaters. Most people have probably saw the other ones we were talking about, except for me, who hasn't seen most of Flip's picks. But this one being still in theaters, I don't want to give too much away, and I just urge everybody to see it as soon as possible on the biggest screen possible and support films like this.
So yeah, this was put out by the Daniels, starring Michelle Yeoh, Ki Kwan, Stephanie Sue, James Hong is in this, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jenny Slate. I cannot wait to see this. This is getting a 4K release through A24, which you don't normally get. There's only, I think, 4 or 5 now that have gotten a wide 4K release from A24, which tells you a lot about that. My local go-to theater in Kansas City is a place called Screenland Armor, and they posted today that this is going to be, this coming weekend is the last weekend that they are showing Everything Everywhere All at Once, and this is real, not a joke. This is the film that they have showed for the longest amount of time ever in the history of their theater, that it has broke records for them that they've had in place for a very long time, and that they have said if you have not seen in theaters, you absolutely have to get there this weekend. I've never seen a film that is not a mainstream record-breaking film be championed the way I've seen this film be championed by certain people, and I am utterly depressed that I was not able to get out and see it in theaters. All the ones close to me, I could not get to in time. This one that I'm saying that is still playing it's about a 40 minute drive for me. And with kids, I mean, that's a good almost $25 right there in driving time just for a babysitter. So
Ryan, I think there's a strong possibility that it might still be playing in Los Angeles by the time you get out of here. So I wouldn't
bank on
not being able to see
When are you going to Los Angeles?
I am going to be there on 2 weeks from today. Exactly.
With the fuel that
this movie... Are we going to do a show?
We'll talk about that after.
Okay.
With the fuel that this movie has behind it, it really has gained a lot of traction by word of mouth.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to veto it. So let's move on. Let's talk about something else.
I mean, I have a backup pick if you really want to veto it. But
yeah, I just said I'm vetoing it.
Are you actually Danny vetoing
this? I haven't seen it, dude. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
What about my logic of not vetoing a movie you haven't seen? You would love it.
Vetoed a movie you haven't seen.
You're gonna love it.
I know I will, and we can do a redux of this later.
He's vetoing it? Right.
At number 1, Flip Otaku has vetoed Everything Everywhere All at Once. And now Jeremy must replace that.
Even Ryan's bummed down. He hasn't watched it yet.
I am.
Nothing I can say is deserving of the number 1 spot.
So I have chosen Charles Swan
First
the
cow.
third.
So I have chosen death.
How dramatic.
So this wouldn't be quite the number one spot in my personal list, as I've already mentioned. Number 2 was what I chose for number 3, First Reformed. Number 3 for me was what Flip chose for number 2, The Lighthouse. So this would actually be my 4th spot, but because Flip vetoed my number 1, we're gonna slide it right into the number 1 spot, and that would be High Life.
High Life.
God damn it, I wish I
Wow.
wouldn't have vetoed it.
Can you retract the veto, Ryan?
Oh god.
No, you
That's a bad
cannot.
movie. Oh Jesus. All right.
High Life at number
Flip.
1. Tell me why this is deserving of number 1.
No,
I don't know if it
no
is.
uncut gems, no good time, no fucking.
We'll
first
talk
round.
about discards afterwards.
I
How
don't
is
know if
this
it is
deserving?
of number 1? It was my number 4 spot.
Well, you have to defend it at number 1 now.
I love the movie. I just wouldn't put it in my, I mean, it is in my top 5 for A24. This was my favorite movie the year that it came out. What year was that?
High Life came out in 2014, I want to say.
Google when John Wick came out, because if that came out the same year, you're.
Oh, wow. No, High Life came out in 2018. God damn.
Okay. Which
John
year
Wick
was
2 came out.
Which year was 8th grade? Was that also 2018? If
Yes,
so, they were tied for first place. I don't
yes,
know.
2018.
Okay, well then I must have put one above the other, although that would have been a very tough choice.
John Wick 2 came out in 2017, by the way.
What's Flip doing? He vetoes me and then leaves?
No, I'm looking up movies 2018 because he said that's your favorite of that year. I'm blown away.
I'm a big champion of Claire Denis films in general.
Nightingale came out 2018.
What did?
Nightingale.
If you really want me to look up, I have my favorite films of 2018 list. Stand by.
I personally would love to hear that.
Okay.
I'll go into some of the details here while you're looking that
Go
up.
for it.
Directed by Claire Denis. This was starring Robert Pattinson, Juliette Binoche, and one of the best hip-hop artists of all time, Andre 3000.
God, that movie's awful, dude.
By the way, our trivia question earlier was this movie was a part of one of them. How many A24 films has Robert Pattinson starred in?
Yeah,
We have High Life, The Lighthouse, Good Time, and The Rover.
Oh, that was the one I forgot. I never would have gotten that. The other 3 I knew, and that's why I said 3, and I was wrong.
I got that question right.
You did, because you guessed 2 first. Then he guessed 3. Then you guessed 4.
That's just because I'm smarter.
Maybe it didn't actually come out till 2019. Maybe the date, like, you know how sometimes on IMDb they have like the date, but it actually didn't come out.
Yeah, or it released in like 4 theaters in 2018.
Okay, I have it on.
It says release date April 12th, 2019 in the US.
Okay, so there you go. So I have it on my 2019 list. So to answer Flip's question as to what it compared to, in 2019, which means I was correct earlier when I said 8th grade was my favorite film of 2018. Yep. It's High Life, The Lighthouse, which maybe at this point in my life I would actually flip those two.
Right.
Just made in the moment that year. I think after plenty of rewatches, those 2 would be flipped. But yeah, so we'll flip them now. The Lighthouse, then High Life, then Jojo Rabbit, A Marriage Story, and 5th is another A24 release, The Farewell.
You got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Gentleman.
I did not care for The Gentleman as much as
The
everybody else.
Irishman. The Irishman in 2019.
I didn't really care for The Irishman that much either.
Fuck.
6 was Parasite. 7 was Uncut Gems, another A24 film. 8 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 9 was Joker. And 10 was Midsummer. Which Midsummer is another one. So a lot of A24 in my top 10 for 2019.
I love how you said Joker and Flip It at the same time went.
Yeah, we both went, the fuck?
Oh, you guys didn't like Joker?
I mean, it's a well-made film, but it's just cringe now.
I think that director is a fucking idiot.
Jesus. Okay, High Life at number one.
Wait, time. Have you seen the director's roundtable with him? He's sitting there with like fucking Martin Scorsese, sitting there with like Quentin Tarantino, and then it's him. It's like, dude, you directed Hangover 1 through 3. Get the fuck out of the room.
Hangover 1 is a masterpiece.
Shut that baby up.
Yeah, it's funny because I've seen that in a what you're describing, Flip, in a lot of those roundtables when they have the award seasons in different ways. Like even this past year, Simon Rex from Red Rocket, which arguably a great performance, was at a table with like I forget who all it was, but like these fucking master class actors that were also nominated.
And you don't think the guy from Scary Movies belongs? The guy who raps.
I think he redeemed Dirt Nasty
and Rick, not Rick, Dirt Nasty. That's right.
He's Dirt Nasty. He raps with Mickey Avalon.
That's so cool, dude.
I like him, and I like his performance in that movie. It's kind of like what you were saying about the director of Joker, to see him surrounded by these fucking greats.
Is it Todd Howard or Todd Phillips?
Todd Phillips. High Life at number one. Let's get back to that.
I don't know what to say. It's hard to explain the movie number one. It's
a Claire Denis film, so
it's a Claire Denis film. All I can say it's going to sound redundant, and I also have kind of lost my fuel after Flip vetoed Everything Everywhere, is that it was once again much like any of the top four picks.
I like Claire.
Yeah, you like Beau Travail.
Beau Travail, yeah.
How
you pronounce it? Beau Travail.
Yeah, well, you couldn't pronounce Yorgos Lanthimos, so. Yeah, this was number 4 on my personal list. Eighth Grade, which I slipped into the 5 spot, was my number 5. So that is my top 5. All those films, including Flip's number 2 pick, Lighthouse, are very personal to me, based on what I got from the experience and the topics that are delved into it. High Life is extremely abstract and philosophical, which again sound redundant, based on how I described some of the other picks, including First Reformed. But I mean, it's very hard to describe High Life.
It's what you like. That makes sense.
But yeah, I got a lot out of it. I was blown away by it. I know it's not everybody's favorite because I think it's extremely hard to connect to and understand. And I know it got shit on. In fact, I remember looking up the hashtag High Life, I think after I saw it opening weekend, whenever it came out. I remember I saw it at ArcLight, almost empty theater.
As it should be.
Back before ArcLight closed down during the pandemic, sadly. And I remember looking up the hashtag on Instagram afterwards just to see what some other people thought of it. And there's this one picture of somebody flipping off the poster at ArcLight, and it just says, "Fuck this piece of shit movie."
That was me.
That was somebody's post.
That was actually me.
Yeah, you were at the ArcLight?
I was at the ArcLight.
And the IMDb rankings, which historically are entirely 100% accurate, they list this as being a 5.8, which for an A24 film is pretty damn low.
So an A24 film is low. I honestly thought it'd be lower than that. So I'm happy with that. It's above halfway.
For those that have not seen it, by the way, the way they simply describe this is a father and his daughter struggle to survive in deep space where they live in isolation.
Yeah. We got any High Life lovers in the audience today?
No!
Preach it in the chat. Tell us in the comments.
Well, John said he appreciates how much I love Beau Travail. Now that John loves that movie, I now hate it. So I hate Beau Travail.
So you just don't like Claire Denis at all?
I love her. I
love her too. I think.
Who's the director of Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
That's her name I don't know how to pronounce off the top.
Yeah, it's a wild name. Let me pull
it. Like one of those names. Yeah.
I love that movie.
The Candlestick from Beauty and the Beast.
It is Celine Sciamma or Sciamma.
Oh, Sciamma. I think it's pronounced Sciamma. Now that you've said it,
I love her.
Celine Sciamma.
So Flip.
She just did that. What's that? She just came out with another movie. I saw it last year, but I think it's coming out in
Did it?
mainstream theaters this year.
Interesting.
It's about two little girls, and it's
Petite Maman.
Petite Maman, and it's great.
What's it about?
I think it's coming out in theaters. Or I think it is in some of the more artsy theaters here in LA already, and it might be getting a wider release. Maybe. I loved it. It's a very interesting follow-up to Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
What's it about?
Nellie has just lost her grandmother and is helping her parents clean out her mother's childhood home. She explores the house and the surrounding woods. One day she meets a girl her same age building a treehouse. That is the entire synopsis.
It's only like an hour. It's a very short movie, by the way. Does it say, Ryan? Does it have a runtime?
73 minutes.
Yeah. So it's
Portrait of a Lady on Fire is easily top 15 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
It says release date in the U.S. is May 6th.
Okay, so it did already come out. But I think it's a very limited release. It's not playing at a lot of places around here.
Speaking of showing the High Life disc again, Flip, why is High Life a bad movie?
I fell asleep, brother. If I fall asleep during a movie, it's bad.
I'm curious what Ryan's thoughts on High Life are. I knew Flip wouldn't like it.
I wasn't high enough. I was living the low life. You know, I was on the ground.
I'm surprised that you hate it so much.
I just didn't like it. I just don't think it's a good movie.
I will say that I need to watch it again. When I first saw it, it was very middling to me. It did not really stick to me for any reason.
Yeah.
I think that some of the visuals were breathtaking.
Yeah.
Really, really well shot. Yes, Sardis, it is sci-fi. It is a space movie. And Pattinson, that was... God, what year did that...
crushed it. Not as good as Lighthouse performance, Pattinson, but still great performance by Pattinson. It's 2019, we'd established.
Right. So it's not his first performance that got me to pay attention to him as an actor.
But really, it's more of a drama.
Yeah. And the way they describe it on IMDb for High Life is adventure, drama, horror.
Yeah, so no adventure whatsoever, and maybe like a little bit of horror.
Yeah.
But barely any.
Yeah, mainly like the claustrophobic and loneliness sense.
Yeah. I think if maybe Flip opened his mind a bit and gave it another watch.
Flip, when you saw it, was that in theaters or at home?
At home.
What was that?
At home.
You sounded like Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse, like grunting.
Let it. Yeah, I think I already said this, but I'll repeat it ad nauseum. Let it be known that this would not normally be in the number one slot. Flip vetoed a movie that I think would be in his number one slot too, and then he vetoed it.
Speaking of, let's go into the final list, and then we can share some discards and what I thought would be on this list. Which, holy shit, did I mess that list up? At number 7, Flip chose The Lobster. Number 6, he also chose A Prayer Before Dawn. Jeremy came in with his first choice at number 5 with 8th Grade. Number 4, Flip chose A Most Violent Year, which promptly got vetoed by Jeremy and replaced with Lady Bird. Number 3 was First Reformed, played by Jeremy. Number 2, The Lighthouse, played by Flip. At number 1, Jeremy attempted to play Everything Everywhere All at Once, gushed about it, raved, said it might be one of his new top 5 favorite films of all time, which Flip said, screw your list. Danny DeVito'd it and was replaced promptly after a long consternation.
And he just did it out of spite, by the way.
It was absolutely out of spite.
There's absolutely no real reason to veto it.
I haven't seen it. That's not spiteful. I haven't seen the fucking movie.
You shook your head yes as soon as I said you did it out of spite. And
yeah, but you're going to love that movie. Jeremy, I did it because I haven't seen the movie.
You know you're going to love the movie.
Jeremy, Jeff wants to know, is High Life anything like Moon?
Yeah, honestly, Jeremy, I think you saying I'm going to love the movie is a little racist. Just because you see some Asians, I'm going to automatically love the movie.
That's not why I said it.
That's like, you're like, oh, Michelle,
you have no idea what the intention was behind me saying you'll love it.
Yeah, okay.
It's from years and years of knowing what kind of movie.
Can you name another Michelle Yeoh movie?
Huh?
Exactly.
I literally said "huh," as in I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, whatever. Go on.
Moon, I fucking love. It is a lot like Moon in many ways, but then also very different from Moon.
Very different, yeah.
The overall sense of isolation and loneliness is similar in both films, and I think a lot of the philosophical questions that both films ask are similar. But there's a lot of crazy shit in the high life that would never have happened in Moon. So
right,
similar and different in different ways.
Flip, what are a handful of your choices that did not make our final list that were near your top?
Green Knight.
It's a great one.
I would have vetoed.
You didn't like it?
I didn't love it.
But you loved High Life. Yeah, whatever.
All right, Artie, calm down. Everybody was raving about that last year, and I was like, all right. So
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
No,
It's
a great movie.
Keep going.
Actually, my top two had Come. Lighthouse and Green Knight both had very prominent Come scenes. Another pick that was left out was I wanted to include a Kelly Reichardt film. So it was a tie between Slow West and First Cow.
Mm-hmm.
Minari was up there. My grandparents were immigrants, so that movie resonated pretty well. And obviously, Good Times in mid-90s. And Green Room. All were in.
Jeez.
All were up there.
Jeremy, what are some of your tops that did not make our list?
Well, let me guess.
Excuse me, what?
Hold on, let me mute him. Let's see. Where is it?
Oh, I like this. So some of my picks that didn't make it were Ex Machina.
Great choice.
Alex Garland.
Excuse me?
Is that Alex
Garland?
Yeah. I was just about to say, if I'm not mistaken, that's Alex Garland's debut film.
He has a new one coming out soon called
Men. Also,
that's the one coming out next week.
I love Men.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I love Jesse Buckley too. So there's what, and then his other one, Annihilation. That was not A24.
Not correct.
Not A24.
It was an A20 board.
Enemy. We mentioned
good stuff
earlier. We mentioned Denis Villeneuve. I love it. Enemy. I think it's
Enemy's a great movie.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of. I think much like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think much like some of the earlier Flip picks, I think it's a bit underrated as far as the A24 films go.
Oh yeah, and it's also very early in the A24 film, so a lot of people have not seen it. And then, not to mention, it's got a really famous star and a breakout director. I don't understand how it's not something that has been more prominently gone back to.
That movie's a mind fuck. I fucking love it.
Well, and I've talked about it on here like 6 times. I love doppelganger films.
Yeah.
So that movie was like, oh god, I'm so in. I love this.
Shouldn't be much of a surprise because of my number one pick, but Swiss Army Man.
That's a great movie. What?
You're such a troll.
What do you mean? I like that movie. What?
The fact that you vetoed the fact that you Danny DeVitoed his number one,
which is the Daniels.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, wait, now we have to call it a Daniels DeVitoed.
Daniels DeVitoed. This is a cliche A24 pick, but I do love the movie a lot, so I'm going to say Hereditary. Boom. I have 2 more that I'll throw in. Obviously, we all love pretty much everything A24 has released, so I could go on and on. The last 2 I'll do is this one shook me to my core emotionally. I sobbed, although most of the top picks I said the same thing. But The Farewell.
Oh my god, that movie.
I love how you were just mocking him, and then that's how you respond.
I love that movie.
And the last one, which I do have on Blu-ray, but for some reason I didn't put in my little snack by my computer, is another recent release that also very much affected me in a lot of ways. Come On, Come On.
I have a hat that says "Come On, Come On." I didn't realize that was A24. That would have been up there for me.
So my predictions for tonight. The very first one I wrote down was Everything Everywhere All at Once because I knew it was going to be Jeremy's number one. And then
shut up about it.
I put 8th Grade, The Lighthouse, Uncut Gems, Lady Bird, Good Time, and The Green Knight. So at the end of the day,
You're
I
pretty
ended
close.
up with 3.
Even if they're out of order, you're pretty close. You had 4 out of 7.
You had 3 out of 7.
Yours got vetoed. It would have been 4. I did
Oh.
get 3. 8th Grade, Lighthouse, and Lady Bird.
Wait, can you say that list again? You need to
I
jot my
had
number.
Everything Everywhere, 8th
Yeah.
Grade, The Lighthouse, Uncut Gems, Lady Bird, Good Time, and The Green Knight.
Good Time's
We
great.
should do this again, Jeremy.
So you
Do
did
something
double-
controversial.
You do it again. Why?
But pick something controversial.
If we can do it again, Brian said he only got permission for this one episode.
Like
Correct.
top 7 favorite mass shootings in America or something like that, you know?
It's a good thing you only got
All
permission
7 will
for
be
this
him
one
showing up to your house, motherfucker. Wait.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
Which
my
address
house with
is-
a gun, I wouldn't know whether to cry or run. I'd be like, what's happening?
It's
Have you
funny-
ever shot a gun, Jeremy?
I have literally never even held a gun.
Wow.
A customer came to the restaurant about 3 months ago. There's a picture of me somewhere. He goes, "Hey, you want to hold my guns?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" They like weren't loaded, so I'm just holding like these 2 Glocks, and I took a picture. I have a fucking N95 mask on, and I'm not using any trigger discipline. I'm just like, I'll have to find the picture. It's pretty funny.
The one thing I'll say about what
Watch out about the Johns.
Ryan predicted, I find it interesting that you had 2. The only director that you had on that list twice was the Safdie brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah. And neither one got picked either.
Neither one got picked.
they're great
I-
directors.
I knew that Flip loves Good Time, and I
Yeah.
really thought Uncut Gems because of, I don't know, it's one of the A24 films that I feel like everybody loved when it first came out, and somehow the appreciation for that movie has risen, which for a lot of these movies, it tends to go the other direction.
Yeah.
And Uncut Gems, especially now, unfortunately, the Criterion label does mean something to a lot of people. The fact that it is, out on 4K from Criterion, it is a film that is, first of all, great. It is, the Safdie brothers have this control of tension that cannot be understated. It is crazy what they are able to do, and that movie is a goddamn heart attack waiting to happen.
I
It
think Good Times is better.
So much so.
I agree. I do think Good Time is better.
So much so that I remember I saw it with my dad because it came out right around the holidays, and I was back visiting my hometown, and he didn't like it because it was giving him the desired effect they wanted,
Right.
and he was just like, "I can't handle this."
Does your dad look like you?
Yeah, in some
So
ways.
he's a really handsome guy.
I'll tell him you said so. But the thing
You are
about
handsome, dude.
Uncut Gems is a masterpiece. So is Good Time. I love them both, and I love the Safdie brothers. The thing that always bothered me about, and this is a little film purist coming out, the thing that bothered me about Uncut Gems was because it was so successful and everybody loved it so much. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, Adam Sandler can act," blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Punch Drunk Love, my 4th favorite movie of all time." You fucking, which I think is as far as Adam Sandler dramatic performances, I think it's superior in my opinion than Uncut Gems, even though I love him in Uncut Gems and I love Uncut Gems.
You have to say every time you say the name of the movie, you have to go Uncut Gems every time from now on.
Why?
Have you not seen that?
Oh, did somebody?
Oh my
say
god,
that?
Ryan,
wish I could pull it up.
Can you pull that clip up and play it? We
Can
won't
you?
get in trouble for playing a clip of
Well,
someone.
if you only play a smidge of it, then
It's
otherwise-
literally she goes, I was Safdie's muse in Uncut Gems.
Oh my gosh. Oh, is it the girl,
Yeah,
Julia Fox?
I hate her. She's so ugly. I
Is she
don't.
the one
get
who
it.
said it? Is that who? You're
Yeah,
talking
yeah. She's like Uncut Gems. You have to see it, dude. It's so good. It's so fucking funny.
Okay, I think I found it.
There's a little box that, like, whenever you share it, it says play audio or share audio or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not done this in a long time. Okay, here we go. Share
That's what I said
screen.
last night. I was making a taco. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't care. All right, here we go.
Everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe.
What is a muse?
I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
It's really hard to tell. I don't think she's doing it on purpose for comedic effect, but it's
Uncut
so
Gems.
flamboyant, it almost seems like she's doing it on purpose.
She got trolled and she was like, "I'm sorry, I was sick," or like she had an excuse as to why she said that. I was Josh Safdie's mate on Uncut Gems.
That is really funny.
This was a great moment in discovering cinema, chronicling history. I love that.
Jabs.
So tonight was fantastic. Thank you guys for playing, and for one of you being fairly polite. And Flip, thank you. I'm just kidding. Let's go into what we normally do beforehand and talk about some recent watches and some pickups. So Flip, what have you been watching?
I'll take a guess. I'm watching kung fu movies.
Jeremy, what have you been watching? I'm just kidding.
No, what did I watch? Oh, I watched
I
Northman.
left for Flip's picks.
We talked about it. I loved the Northman very much. Incredible film. I watched a movie called Ninja Final Duel, which might be the dumbest. I gave it 4 stars just because it's so stupid. And I would recommend you guys just watch it because it's so stupid. It's not a good movie. It's a bad movie, but it's so fun. They don't talk. I can't even explain it. Can I show pickups?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I picked up Jackie Chan's Half a Loaf of Kung Fu. This is a bad movie. Don't get it.
I love that cover.
It's a great cover. Got The Proposition in 4K.
Oh,
That's a great movie. Nice, nice, solid box. I don't know how to pronounce this movie. Slava
Ilya
Ukraini, I think is what it is.
Muromets.
Slava Ukraini, I think is how you pronounce it. Fuck the Russians. I'm just kidding. Great movie. Highly recommend it. Love this artwork. I don't know if you guys can see it. It looks great.
That's the one that we were talking about beforehand, Jeremy. This was put out by Deaf Crocodile, one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels. Almost 100,000 extras in that movie.
Wow. It's on Vinegar Syndrome? I can get it.
It is, yeah.
Also
Get it.
got
How much
Jeremy. I
armor?
think you would love this movie.
Yeah.
Rebels of the Neon God. Let me
Vetoed.
read you a little synopsis here. Tsai Ming-Ling emerged on the world. Wait, hang on. I'm not going to talk about his biography. Rebels of the Neon God is a remarkably impressive first film that hints at the promise of its director, a talent conformed by Tsai's equally stunning second nature. I mean, that's really. It's just it's like a Wong Kar-wai movie. Have you ever seen a Wong Kar-wai movie?
Oh yeah, I love Wong Kar-wai.
I think it's just on par with like Chungking Express, stuff like that. It's in the
All
same
right.
vein.
Yeah.
And that's out from Big World Pictures, partner label from Vinegar Syndrome as
That's good.
well.
I can
It's
use
Vinegar
my
Syndrome.
subscriber discount.
Got the media book for Black Mask.
My one pickup for the week is the media book of the Black Mask.
Mine did yours come damaged?
I was waiting till this moment to open it because I knew that yours was damaged, and I didn't realize there was a poster. No, mine's perfect.
Yeah.
Is
So I
Is
don't
this
know.
something I should buy, you guys?
No, you won't like this. No.
Okay.
So look, Ryan, I'm gonna do this real quick because it happens every time. So the holder for this disc is broke, and this DVD was scratched.
So return it.
because of it. So well,
It can't be gotten anymore.
It can't be gotten. They won't even. It's either I return it or I don't get it's either I return it, get a refund, or I keep it. So
What about a partial refund?
no, they
What
said
the damn?
return it, get a refund, or
Oh,
keep it. So I'm gonna
let
keep
me
it.
talk to them, Flip.
The Blu-rays are fine. But is this your first media book from the Vengeance Pack there, Ryan?
Yes.
What do you think of the faux leather cover?
It is an interesting choice. I think it
Really
feels really nice in the hand. It is very thick for a release like this. I mean, it is, up next to a couple of the Vinegar Syndrome partner label releases. It is a slipcover and a half tall.
Mhm.
It is a nice little sleeve J card on the bottom to protect the bottom, which I appreciate on something like this, so that the corners don't get jacked up on the shelf. It's a nice release.
It's a good movie. There's 2 cuts of this movie. I'm gonna read you the description on the back, Jeremy.
Okay.
Unschrecken wegen Underfall. Eine like Blutka Maska.
Oh, is it a German? Is it
Yeah, it's a German.
release?
It's a German.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
So, yeah,
What's even crazier is I understood it, and now I want to watch it.
Yeah, great. What else did I get? Oh yeah, so here, I talked about this a few weeks ago, but found it. Got that. Man Called Blade. Got Makai Tensho Samurai Resurrection. Samurai movie with zombies. And then time for some bootlegs. We got 1964's Warrior of the Wind.
Just a farting samurai.
Black and white farting samurai movie. Then we got 1980s, the movie. So Shadow Warriors, the Sonny Chiba show was started because of this movie. And then also we got Lady Sazin and the Drenched Shallow Sword, also known as Lefty Fencer. So, and then we got this motherfucker, Cat Stevens.
This pussy. All right, Jeremy, what have you been watching?
Mermaid pussy, but it's a pussy. What
you watched this week or longer than that if you want, and then pickups.
What did I watch this week? I did I spent as was stated in my intro by Ryan, I spent an awful lot of time at the New Beverly Cinema this weekend. I went to a 90s Nightmares marathon on Saturday evening.
How many movies is that?
Sounds so much fun.
4.
Wait, what time does it start?
Starts at 6 and ends about 2. I thought it was gonna be
awesome.
I thought it was gonna be 5 or 6 because that's what they do when they do their Halloween one in October. But it was only 4. Much like the Halloween one, it's a surprise as to what titles they're showing until they pop up on screen.
Dude, my wet dream would be a Shaw Brothers marathon from 6 to 2 a.m. You know how cool that'd be?
We all know.
So wait, I have a question. Is LA still alive at 2 a.m.?
Not like it used to be.
Like, can you go to like a diner and get food at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, a diner you could if it's open till 2 or 24 hours. A lot of places that used to be open late though are do close
Same
early
here.
still.
I would love when I come. I would love to stay up all night with you.
We can arrange that, Flip.
Okay.
And then you come later. The films were, I think we're allowed to say it now that it's aired and that's happened. The event has happened. The films were top secret prior to the event. The 4 films were Hideaway, the great Jeff Goldblum, Dean Koontz, Elisa Silverstone vehicle. Warlock, the Armageddon sequel, which was a riot. The Unborn, the only one, the least favorite of the night for me. And then we closed out the night with cult classic Disturbing Behavior,
which is a great way to end.
Yeah, so that was a fun night. Then I was back Sunday night to see Zodiac, which I hadn't watched in many years. So that was a lot of fun to see on the big screen. Also, prior, because I'm a fucking nut, prior to spending literally, 6 to 2? What is that? 8 hours at the New Beverly for that marathon on Saturday night. Prior to that, I went with my friend Zach to see Firestarter.
How was that piece of shit?
I gave it 1 star.
I saw that.
It was not good. It was entertaining enough for a one-time watch. It wasn't completely unwatchable, but it was not good.
I have a question, Jeremy. How much are these tickets to the all-nighters?
This is going to blow you away because I was shocked.
Ryan and I were just talking about this earlier today because we were planning some screenings for his trip out here. The all-nighters, because it's hey, someone's catching on to my nickname name changes. The all-nighters, because it's multiple features, are a little more expensive, but still not. The a double feature, which is what they typically do at the New Beverly. Most nights are double features. Those are $12 for 2 movies. A midnight showing, which they do every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, just Friday, Saturday. Those are $10 for midnight movie. And then the all-nighters or, marathon movies, like I did a Scream marathon recently, $30 for,
This month, they're showing the first 5 Child's Play films, and it's $30 for all 5 movies.
When does that start? When does that end?
That one also. That one is listed.
I think
to
it's
start at
4. Yeah.
So we'll because it's starting earlier than the 4-film Nightmares marathon I was at. It'll probably also be over at 2. I would.
And
guess.
is there like an intermission between movies?
A brief, about 10-15 minutes, and then they also do trailers before each film. The New Bev is known for picking out trailers specific to the film and before and showing.
I really hope they do Shaw, because we close the restaurant usually. This could be our first year with the dining room back open. We're like so close to getting it fully. Like the remodel's done. We got some tables and chairs put together, and then I think we found help. I think we found a waitress and 2 dishwashers. So, but we haven't had our usual vacations around late August, early September. We usually take 2 to 3 weeks off. I haven't had a vacation since pre-pandemic. I worked, so I'm burnt.
Yeah, sure.
They usually have like a Shaw Timber where they play Shaw Brothers
at the New Bev.
Yeah, because Quentin and Dan Halstad, they both own a bunch of 35 millimeters of Shaw of actual Shaw Brothers movies. So I want to go. Like fingers crossed. On a day that I'm on vacation, I'll just hop on a train, go down.
Hop on a train.
It's a 36-hour train ride. Not bad. Or I'll fly. I mean, that's probably better.
Whatever you want, but. I also earlier in the same week, I was at the New Bev again for a double feature, the Grindhouse double feature, Death Proof and Planet Terror.
I'd love to see that in theaters again.
I also I saw Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness twice. I saw it opening night in IMAX, and then I saw that at the New Bev in 35 millimeter.
So Flip shared my pickup for the week, and you shared my only watch for the week just now. This is the first reuniting of us since we did the MCU tier list on the show. Did you get to see Multiverse of Madness yet, Flip?
No.
Okay, so Jeremy, what did you think of Multiverse of Madness, and where would you have placed it in our ranks?
I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it. I was a little let down, to be honest, but I still liked it a lot. I feel like there's definitely some MCU Disney tampering in Sam Raimi's vision for it that happened, and that if they would have just given Sam Raimi control of it, then it probably would have been maybe 5 stars from me instead of 4. But I still really liked that. There was a lot of great things in it. Obviously, some of those little surprises that in this seemed more forced than it did in No Way Home. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. It wasn't one of my favorites of the MCU. It would definitely not be in. We were using the alphabet, right? A, B, C, D, E, F.
The highest was S.
Oh, S. And then what was underneath that? A. All the way to F or D? It was D.
I think it's S-A. Is it S-A-B-C-F?
Okay.
Or is there a D? I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I would probably put it in B. Either a low A or a high B, I guess.
I agree.
That is that is the exact place I put it. I even gave it 3.5 and not 4.
Yeah.
I think the Raimi of it all was amazing, and
that's the strongest. Yeah, you can. Yeah,
you could feel the Raimi aspects of it, but the script itself just fell short for me. The entire last 25 minutes was very Sam Raimi, and that was awesome.
Is that with the starfish?
Huh?
The starfish?
Starfish.
The starfish monster.
Oh, that's from the Suicide Squad?
That's in Doctor Strange.
There's a
No.
monster at the beginning. I don't think it's
There's like a
starfish.
jellyfish-looking thing at the
Yeah,
beginning, but
with the big eye.
no, that's the end of the
I
Suicide
just
Squad.
saw this on Colbert or something. He had whoever, I don't know what talk show, they played a clip. He's doing the gang signs, and he splits a taxi cab in half. He saves a girl.
The bus, yes.
That all
Yeah.
happens. It's just not a starfish.
Yeah, the starfish thing. There, it is very similar to the climactic monster at the end of the Suicide Squad.
Now, are the X-Men in this?
We're not going to spoil anything that's currently in theaters.
Crazy question to ask.
Professor Xavier's in it, right?
Anyways, I gave this 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was, like I said, really good. I love that there were certain things that were literally like ripped out of Evil Dead and Drag Me to Hell, which I did not expect in an MCU film. That was a big surprise.
How was Bruce Campbell's cameo?
I love.
Very funny.
Yeah, I love that part.
I have his autobiography signed. If Chins Could Kill.
I love that book. I also have it.
Great book. Yeah, do you have it signed?
I did sign it, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay, whatever.
My friends.
Oh wait,
Is there what?
I love us.
I wasn't done.
Dang, good God, you see so many movies.
I also saw Everything Everywhere at Once.
Apparently, yeah, you have.
I saw it 2 more times.
I was saying like every movie you saw.
I'm just going through my Letterboxd list. I watched Wormworld Apocalypse because I really liked the first one.
Was it good?
I think
Is that the second one or the one that just got released?
The new one, the second one.
Well, isn't the brand new one that just came out a third one?
No, I think this is only the second one. I'm pretty sure this is only number 2.
Let me pull up.
I watched the new Bosch.
Okay.
Great. You should watch it, Jeremy. Do you like Bosch?
Okay, yeah, you are correct. For some reason, I thought there was a third one in like 2017, but I guess not.
I think they've been working on this one for a while, so maybe they
That must be what it was.
Then. So then I'm just going off my Letterboxd. I went to a midnight screening of Rocky Horror Picture Show and dressed up. We already talked about that.
I loved those pictures.
Thanks, Flip.
Bank material.
And then my friends were in town visiting, and one of our favorite movies that we quote all the time is Wayne's World, so we rewatched that. It still holds up as a comedy masterpiece. That'll do it for what I've watched. My pickups, which there's a far more than this, but I won't waste everybody's time. These are the ones I literally just got earlier today.
You're welcome.
I got the new movie Belle. Is it Belle or Bella?
I thought it was Bill.
It's probably just Belle. The Target exclusive Steelbook, which I didn't know.
What? The Target exclusive Steelbook?
I got Licorice Pizza. Did you kick him out? Because I love this movie. And as Ryan and I were talking about earlier, a pretty great release. It comes with like a reversible cover artwork and a poster and some other stuff. I picked up, I haven't seen this one ever in my life, but I'm trying to collect all of this boutique label, and it's only $10. So I got the new Vestron Extreme Prejudice. Really.
Oh yeah, brother, that's a good movie.
Okay.
Have you seen Extreme Prejudice?
Yeah.
Flip? So Extreme Prejudice, legitimately, like one of the better Vestron titles they've ever released.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Not Dream a Little Dream.
probably Nick Nolte's best movie.
Okay.
That's not saying much though, but yeah, Extreme Prejudice. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the line really, but
No.
it is probably like top 3 of their best films.
See, Jeremy, I wasn't just fucking with you, dude.
I got the Steelbook of La La Land because I love that movie, and even though
exclusive.
no, this is
No,
Best Buy.
exclusive.
Can we kick him out?
I'm just kidding.
Even though I already own it, I love it, and I saw somebody who had it and what the artwork looked like on it, and it's beautiful, so I had to. And then Ryan talked me into also, while at Best Buy, getting 2 more Steelbooks.
Exclusives?
Exclusives. Best Buy.
No, only this one is. The next one is not.
The next one is not Best Buy exclusive. Okay.
No, it's a wide release.
Requiem for a Dream Steelbook, which apparently has brand new 4K only special features.
What is that?
Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, dude, we get to see the dildo scene in 4K. That's awesome.
And lastly, the heavy metal double feature Steelbook.
Which is still so odd because when they first announced that, both movies in there were supposed to be in 4K, and then when it was like, here's the details for the release, they quietly updated Heavy Metal 2000 to only be Blu-ray.
That is interesting.
That's a heavy load of crap.
And that'll do it.
You guys don't like my zingers tonight? You guys.
It's hard to top that. It's hard to top that 2001 joke from the beginning of the show.
I just muted him. We'll see how long till I know.
What joke did I say? Oh, I forgot I said that. I can't believe I said that.
The rest of the show has been sitting in the rubble of that joke.
Yes.
It was a burning pile of shit.
Well,
if it was any worse, I would have jumped from the second story.
or melted steel beams.
Dank memes melt steel beams. That's what they say.
On that note, thank you guys for participating. Thank you everybody for hanging out watching. And until next time, we'll see